Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and we are so close to training camp. It will be coming up next week, and I do have a special announcement. I will be attending 6 training camps that are open to the general public. So if you want to see which training camps I will be attending, they will be in the description down below. So if you guys are attending, maybe you want to swing by, say hi to me, and we can just hang out, talk Bucs football, maybe watch practice together, just overall have a very fun time. I hope to see a lot of you there. If you are going, again, let me know down in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you guys. But today, we are previewing 5 training camp battles that are going to be very important to look at moving forward and keep an eye on and just overall pay attention to. These are 5 battles that all Bucs fans should be keeping a pretty decent eye on. So the first training camp battle that we're going to be talking about today is the starting right guard position, which is going to be up to Alex Cappa versus Caleb Benenoch versus Evan Smith. Now, what's very interesting about this battle is Caleb Benenoch and Alex Cappa, basically. I like to think that Evan Smith is probably going to be the backup, and especially if not at just the guard position, at the center position. So it's really down to Alex Cappa versus Caleb Benenoch. And this is interesting because Caleb Benenoch, since he's been with the Buccaneers, he's played a lot of right tackle. He's usually been that backup right tackle, but now he's moving in to the potentially starting right guard role, which I think might be a pretty interesting role for him. I've never been disappointed with Caleb Benenoch. I thought he's done a pretty decent job. So right now the job is his to lose, but then you have to factor in Alex Cappa coming in and the kind of player he is. When Alex Cappa was drafted, I believe it was Mike Mayock said, he's got some of the nastiest tape. The guy's just a mauler, sometimes he'll drop his technique and just straight up maul people. That's pretty enticing if you ask me. So really it's going to be this 3rd round pick in Alex Cappa versus, I believe, Benenoch was a 5th or 6th round pick formerly. However, Benenoch you would think has the edge, but it'll still be pretty interesting to see what's happened. I will say this, that Kappa does have some experience already with the team, so he's not like he's coming in here and he just is going to get completely hosed out. He did have the rookie training camp to kind of get started and get a little bit of momentum going his way, so he's not coming in here just completely cold, like completely new to what's going on. He'll definitely have a little warm-up, and I'm sure Benenoch is no slouch. I'm sure Benenoch has been training as well, so this should be a pretty interesting battle because it matters. It matters because whoever that starting right guard's going to be, you're going to have Ryan Jensen next to him on your left, and you're going to have DeMar Dodson on your right, because centers to your left if you're a right guard, and then right tackles to your right if you're a right guard. So they're surrounded by pretty good talent. Jensen's a top center in this league, at least he was last year, and DeMar Dodson's been a top right tackle in this league for a couple of seasons now. So you're surrounded by a good fellow offensive lineman, but that still doesn't take away the importance of your job. You're still a vital piece of that offensive line, but whoever does end up being the starting offensive right guard, they will have the benefit of having DeMar Dodson and Ryan Jensen flanking either side of them, so that's pretty good for either Benenoch or Kappa, whichever one wins this battle. Moving ahead to the next battle. Now, this one's pretty interesting. I'm sure a lot of people have pointed it out. A lot of these battles, a lot of people have pointed out. I picked one, maybe 2, where people probably aren't thinking that much about. But this one's obvious. It's Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart versus Vernon Hargreaves III. Now, I picked both. I picked the team of Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart because Vernon Hargreaves is a very interesting piece for this team right now. In fact, he is so interesting, he has the potential to take away time from 2, at maximum, I think, 3 or 4 cornerbacks, because if we are to believe what Mike Smith said in his most recent interviews, he wants to play Vernon Hargreaves on the outside in non-nickel packages. So obviously you won't need a 3rd cornerback in those non-nickel packages usually. And then when you transition to nickel packages, Hargreaves is going to slide into that nickel spot, and I believe Ryan Smith is the expected one to come in at the number 2 cornerback slot there. So really, you'd spend 2 second-round picks on Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart. Carlton Davis has been labeled kind of an outside cornerback, and MJ Stewart's been labeled a nickel cornerback, at least so far to this point, in terms of overall draft details and just how the team's been viewing them, how Bucs fans have been viewing them. And Hargreaves has the potential to take away playing time from both of these guys. So he's basically fighting a 2-on-1 battle, Hargreaves is, because MJ Stewart's going to be fighting for time in that nickel package in the slot as that nickel back corner. And then Even as the outside cornerback, Carlton Davis is going to be fighting for time there. Granted, I mean, you could also say it's going to be Carlton Davis and MJ Stewart versus Vernon Hargreaves III and Ryan Smith. I think that's a more fair naming of this battle, because it's going to be, if nickel packages are mainly what the Bucs run this year, which, they run them a lot, it's going to be Ryan Smith versus Carlton Davis. They kind of have a similar build, so that's where you could see that battle happening. But still, Hargreaves is still going to have to be battling both these guys. Ryan Smith is probably only going to have to be battling Carlton Davis, so it should be interesting. They really want to use Hargreaves as a very versatile piece, which I'm fine with. Whatever, if it works, it works. But man, Hargreaves has a lot of odds. I mean, he's a former first round pick, so I think he'll do fine with it. But he has a lot of competition ahead of him, it's good. I think it's healthy competition, and it should look pretty good in my opinion. Moving on to the next battle. This is a battle not a lot of people have been, some people have been talking about it. I've seen it here or there, but we've kind of forgot about this battle that's coming. It's Vita Vea versus Bo Allen. Now, I don't know if a lot of you remember, but we drafted a giant freaking mountain thing at defensive tackle this year in the first round of our draft. I mean, there was that initial buzz for Vita Vea, oh, he's going to be great, and then it kind of died down a little bit, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. He was talked about a little bit in the rookie training camp, obviously, but recently, not a lot of people have been mentioning him. Obviously, the whole Jameis Winston thing happened, and that's kind of consumed a lot of the Buccaneers' opinions and thoughts and articles and whatnot. But don't sleep on Vita Vea, okay? He has some big battles ahead of him. Former 12th overall pick in this past year's draft, and when you pair him up versus a guy like Bo Allen, who just came off of a Super Bowl win, and he was a productive player on a Super Bowl winning team, this is going to be a fun battle in my opinion. Obviously, they're battling for that spot next to Gerald McCoy. There is going to be an obvious rotation, so this battle, it might not matter too much in the grand scheme of things, maybe, but, still, who's going to be labeled as that number 2 defensive tackle next to Gerald McCoy? You also got to factor in that Vita Vea is probably going to have to start from the ground up, so he's probably going to have to battle Stevie Tukolovatu, then probably Mitch Unrein, then Bo Allen, so he has to work his way up this ladder of battles to get up to the top guy right now, who is Bo Allen. I think both of them are still very productive defensive tackles, and this should be a really fun battle because we already kind of know what to expect from Bo Allen. He's a beast of a run stopper. He's pretty good at making opportunities for other defensive linemen in terms of clogging up lines so other linemen can beat their guys and go in and get it. But Vita Vea, he's just as beastly. He's 6 foot whatever, 375. No, maybe not 375. Is he 375? I can't remember, but I know he's a beast. The freaking man lifted rocks on freaking islands with folk legends, with spirits. It's cool. I freaking love Vita Vea. I love Bo Allen, and I'm definitely gonna be paying a lot of attention to this battle during training camp, and you guys should too. The fourth battle that I wanted to talk about today is Ronald Jones II. Is he the second? I'm pretty sure he's the second. Versus Peyton Barber for the starting running back position, I guess. So this one's pretty interesting because a lot of people are hyped about Ronald Jones. A lot of Bucs fans are hyped about Ronald Jones. Fantasy guys are hyped up about Ronald Jones. General NFL guys are kind of hyped up, kind of hyped up about Ronald Jones. They more like talking about Saquon Barkley, but whatever, screw him, am I right? And Darius Geis, but whatever, who cares? Ronald Jones has a very good potential to do something right away for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and how he does in his battle versus Peyton Barber and how he does overall in training camp might be a really key piece in how he starts off this year. Is he going to start as part of a committee, or is he going to get the Lions' share of the carries right away? Is he going to get the most carries right away? That kind of all depends on how he does versus Peyton Barber. Now, Peyton Barber's no slouch under any circumstances. A lot of people wanted him to be the starter 2 years ago, I believe, back when people were doubting Doug Martin, and admittedly, I was wrong about that one for good reason. People should have doubted Doug Martin. He did not perform. But people wanted Peyton Barber to be the guy a couple of years ago, and now fast forward, and he's got this opportunity now to do a little bit of something with his opportunity that he has here to work with this committee. Last year, obviously, after Doug Martin just sucked, he was terrible, Peyton Barber was able to come in and put out some pretty decent games, be a pretty decent runner in my opinion, and actually go out and perform well. So both these guys have a viable reason to be a starting running back. Do you go with the guy who's already a proven asset, who's proven to be able to do some good things like Peyton Barber, or do you go with the guy who you just drafted in the second round, or do you just say, screw it, we'll do a committee? It's probably going to be the committee thing to start, but it should still be an interesting battle because you never know what could happen. Maybe the coaching staff changes their mind. Maybe they say, you know what, Jones hasn't been impressing as much, or Barber hasn't been impressing as much. Let's give the other guy a lot more carries and just flat out make him our starting guy. We'll give him 20 carries a game, something like that. That could happen. Who knows? Who knows? It'll be very interesting to see, and just Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber in general, I'm very interested to see. This is going to be one that a lot of Bucs media is probably going to pay attention to because it's pretty high profile. Bucs had an atrocious running game last year, so there's going to be a lot of attention on that for sure. And then finally, this is probably the most obvious one, but whatever. You guys still need to pay attention to it. It's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Ryan Griffin. Now, yeah, obvious choice is obvious, right? But hear me out, okay? Now, I have talked with many a Bucs people about this. I've talked with Corey Draper from the Play Reaction. You should totally check out his channel in the eye icon on the top right of the screen. I've talked with Brent and Ren, and even Ren twice, about this situation, which, by the way, you should check out their podcast, the Pewtercast, on YouTube and on their podcast website. That'll be in the top right of the screen as well. I've talked with many Bucs fans about this situation as well. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's probably the preferred starter right now, but do not count out Ryan Griffin. He showed some very fun things. He's shown that he can be a pretty decent quarterback. Ren said it very famously of the Pewtercast. If you took off all three of their numbers, him, Jameis Winston, and Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, and you just decided to see which one was the best quarterback, you could have argued that Ryan Griffin was the best quarterback. So I don't know if it is as complete of a lock as Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be our starter for the first 3 weeks as people think it is. I think Ryan Griffin has a chance. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but you never know. Ryan Fitzpatrick has proven to be very up and very down type of guy. So if he has a string of bad practices and Ryan Griffin has a string of good practices, in fact, great practices even, you never know. A lot of people were very confused, like, oh, why do we have Ryan Griffin on the team for the past 2 years? We know he's never played once in a game. The coaching staff believes in him. The GM believes in him. There's reasons. A lot of people didn't think guys like Adam Humphries and Cameron Brate were ever going to be anything, and look what happened to them. They've become very vital parts of this team and very good players. So maybe Ryan Griffin's next in line. I think it was like 1 year it was Adam Humphries, the next it was Cameron Brate, and then it could be Ryan Griffin's turn now. You never know. I will be very interested to see overall who does better and just who has the better practices and whatnot. I'm sure the coaching staff will too. I don't think that it is ingrained in their mind right now that Fitzpatrick is the guy. I'm sure they might have said that in some press conferences or whatnot, but still I think that they're going to keep their options open, and it's going to boil down to Griffin versus Fitzpatrick. The battle of the Ryans, as I guess I should say. And I think Ryan Griffin does have a little bit of a chance. I wouldn't count him out for sure. I would not count him out for sure because you never know what could happen. And you guys should pay attention to that. I'll be paying attention to that. Again, let me know what you guys think about all these battles down in the comment section below. Let me know what battles you guys are interested in looking at. And again, if you're going to any of these Bucs training camps, put it down in the comments section below which ones you're going to, and we can hang out, we can talk Bucs football, we can just have a fun time. I'm going to be recording all of them, just to get footage for the channel so you guys can see if you can't attend, maybe you can see what's been going on these training camps. I'll be paying attention. Maybe I shouldn't record them actually because I might get in trouble because that's kind of that might not be good. I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to be definitely recording my experiences there. I might not be recording the practices in general, but I will be recording experiences. I might take some clips here or there from the practices and throw those in as well. But, if you guys want to come over, hang out, and just have a fun time, it is a fun time at these training camps. If you're on the fence about it, I encourage you to go if you have the the time. It's free. It's free. I mean, bring your own water, bring a tent. There's no bleachers or overhang anymore, was what I was told by Ren from the Pewtercast. So you got to bring your own gear. I'm bringing my own gear. I hope you guys do too, and I hope to see all of you there at training camp. And hooray! Football is coming back faster and faster. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you all enjoyed. Next video should be a roster prediction, probably. Isn't that exciting? It's a way too early roster prediction, so that should be fun. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys, and as always, go Bucs.